Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Lexa Peterson, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Chief Petty Officer Casey Tyson. We warmly welcome the family of Lieutenant John Methven Collier, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family, students on behalf of Corrine Senior High School visiting from Corrine, Western Australia, and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. Students, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's first World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops at Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed at the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record that they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, flowers of the forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Lieutenant John Methven Collier. John Collier was born in Elstonwick, Victoria, on the 30th of March 1920, one of 4 children born to David Collier and Elsie Brown-Bell. The family moved to Adelaide when the children were small and they attended Glen Osmond Primary and Unley High Schools. Always known as Jack, John Collier played football for the South Australian Colts. At the outbreak of the Second World War, Jack Collier was working as a storeman with Shell Petroleum Company. He enlisted for service on the 3rd of November 1939, raised his age by 2 years and was elected as private to the Australian Army Medical Corps. Both Jack Collier's brothers enlisted over the next year, younger brother James in the Royal Australian Air Force and youngest brother Graham in the Royal Australian Navy. Collier began his basic military training at Melbourne, a clerk with the 2nd Australian General Hospital. On the 20th of April 1940, he embarked for overseas service. At Alcantara on the Suez Canal, Collier worked as a pay clerk at the Australian Hospital. While stationed in the Middle East, Collier found himself in trouble with authorities 3 times. The last warranted a week-long confinement for failing to appear at parade. Nevertheless, he was promoted to acting corporal in September and full corporal in October, and transferred to the AIF headquarters finance station. Collier remained in the Middle East with the Field Cash Office for nearly 2 years, returning to Australia as Sergeant in March 1942. For the next 5 months, Collier had a number of short postings with the Pay Office, one of which was to the Guerrilla Warfare School, a commando and special operations training centre. In September 1942, Collier transferred to the Independent Company Commandos and trained at Canberra, North Queensland. In April 1943, Collier was transferred into M Special Unit. M Special undertook covert reconnaissance and intelligence gathering. Training on Fraser Island, they operated undetected behind enemy lines for extended periods to collect intelligence. On the 20th of April 1943, Collier embarked with a party of 30 commandos to undertake reconnaissance work on Bougainville Island. While he was there, Collier's brother James Collier, a boomerang pilot with No. 4 Squadron, was accidentally shot down and killed by Allied forces in New Guinea. Jack Collier and his M Special Detachment returned to Australia on the 11th of August, and 10 days later, Jack married his sweetheart, Nurse Ellen May Lattimore. He was posted to the 1st Australian Commando Training Battalion, and in April 1944 was made lieutenant. In March and April, Collier suffered kidney troubles and spent some weeks in hospital. In June 1944, he was posted as instructor to the 2nd 48th Infantry Battalion in North Queensland. And for the next year, Collier transferred between the 2nd 48th and M Special Unit. In May 1944, he embarked for overseas service for a 3rd time on M Special duties. The secrecy surrounding this commando unit meant that their objective was not named. Likely, though, this was another reconnaissance mission in New Guinea. In September, Collier's wife Ellen gave birth to a son, David John. Collier returned to the 2nd 48th at Ravenshoe, North Queensland, and embarked with them for Borneo on the 13th of April 1945. A small island off the northeastern coast of Borneo, Tarakan had oil fields producing millions of barrels of oil, but the decision to invade was largely political. Intended to liberate areas of Dutch territory in the Netherlands, East Indies, and to make Australian forces more visible in the war against Japan. Before the landing at Tarakan, the shore was bombarded from the sea and air, causing clouds of black smoke from ammunition dumps and oil storage tanks. There was fierce fighting as they pushed inland, and more than 200 Australians were killed or died of their wounds before the last Japanese positions fell in 1945. With the 2nd 48th, Jack Collier's role was to lead patrols to flush out the enemy. At Sky's Ridge and on the 3rd of May, Collier's party engaged the enemy, killing some of them. The Japanese pursued them, and in the run and fight, Lieutenant Jack Collier was killed and a comrade badly wounded. Collier's body was recovered 2 days later and was buried in the field. He was only 25 years old. Victory in Europe came 10 days later, and the war ended in August. In June 1949, Jack Collier's remains were exhumed and reburied at the Labian War Cemetery under the inscription his family chose for his headstone: "Duty nobly done, ever remembered." Collier's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lieutenant John Methven Collier, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in hope for a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and sounding of the last post.
They shall grow old, they shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Posier or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over, but in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.